In this video, we're going to have a look at learning efficiently through writing accurately. And that starts right from when you are in the classroom with your teacher, or when you're trying to learn vocab, not necessarily when you're practicing. So what I wanted to say is that here is a simple worksheet, which is actually a GCSE worksheet, but it doesn't really matter, which is about time phrases. What's very important if you want to be an efficient learner is that you try to use those high leverage techniques when doing grammar drills. So for example, in this sheet we are dealing with time phrases, which is linked to using tenses. What's very important and often overlooked by students is to read the information that is at the top of the sheet here. That's your step one. The second step is when you're doing the actual drill, is that make sure you read the instruction correctly, that's obvious, and you respect the coding system that, for example, is true for that sheet. But what's absolutely crucial for me is, for example, when I do the worksheet for myself, then I can write my answers, I can test myself if you wish, do all my answers, and then after I can go back and check. So basically, step one is to read the information, complete the sheet with what I think is to the best of my knowledge, looking at the things critically and analyzing every single bit, tenses and so on, which is not the topic of this video. But then I go back, and one of my leverage techniques is that the ones I am not quite sure about, sometimes I highlight them with a little star. That doesn't look like a star at all, but it doesn't matter. And for example, those ones, because I'm not sure of them, then I can easily go back, and if the teacher, if this is, for example, is a homework task or a head-independent study task, I can go back to the teacher and say, oh, by the way, those two ones, 1 and 2, I wasn't sure about this. You can do the same with highlighting, and also the next step is, perhaps, if you have access to the answers, is to have a look at the answers and mark it yourself with the answer, or with your teacher on the board, and check that they are all correct. Okay, so this is quite an important aspect of learning during your independent study time, and also about learning efficiently in class and out of class. So in the second part of this video, we're going to look at not necessarily the type of the work that you've done in class, but the work that you are doing in class or out of class, but it's more focused on your writing. Okay, so how do you get your writing more accurate? How do you stop making mistakes? First of all, you've got to know the different areas. So dealing with verbs is one of them. Remember that you need to, verbs in certain languages got different versions, and you've got verb tables and things that you can use, documents you can use in order to help you with this. Remember that also spelling is often a difficult one because it relies on the memory. Memory is not very efficient in human beings. It's good. You can remember a lot of things, but if you want to be learning efficiently, you certainly don't want to learn things with spelling mistakes in them. So therefore, it's absolutely important that when you write them in lessons or when you are at the learning stage, that you are not making any mistakes. So you need to double check what you're writing down. And if you're, whether in doubt, again, top strategy there. If you write something and you're in doubt, you underline it or you highlight it and think, okay, everything I highlight, I will be checking later. Beware also of words that are cognates, full friends, or near cognates, meaning those words that are the same in English and are sometimes not the same in English, and sometimes that are quite the same. And that triggers usually a lot of little mistakes. Then also remember that in various languages, the sentence structures can be different, and therefore sometimes it's not getting the words exactly into the place, but it makes sense that the overall unit, the overall sentence makes sense in context